I'm really not looking forward to this. All right, guys, here I am back out here ready to do the deed, working on extra stinky day. So today is going to be the day where I use the old proseal to finally get back down in there and seal up the holes and whatnot. I have come prepared, loaded for bear. It's going to be an awful day. So to that end, I've got a bunch of gloves and I bought a whole bunch of towels. I've got a bunch of rolls of towels because I always go through these. I'm wearing crappy jeans, so if I get stuff on there, I don't care. Baggies, because a lot of you guys suggested I use baggies. I even found an old medicine for our dog, squeegee thingy, or syringe rather, squeegee, that I'm going to try to put some in here. It's really small though, so this may be too small, but I figured I'd try it. And just to get right in that corner to give it a good squirt. And of course, I'm going to do the work by using my tiny little GoPro and this light down in there so I can see what the hell I'm doing and try not to get any on my GoPro. That would suck. But so I am ready to go. Some of you have asked me what version or brand of proseal I use, and I think it's always the same one, this NSL Aerospace, but it is CS3204B2. 3204, I'm guessing, is the chemical designation, and someone told me I think B2 is like how long you have to work with it before it sets. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. Someone will comment down below. But this stuff works really well, and it comes in this stick where the catalyst is up in here, and you use a plunger and you push that down in there and you stir it, real quick and as you move up and down, you stir it so you get it all good and mixed, and this will change from a white, the black is the catalyst, the white is the stuff, and you put it down in there and it'll kind of turn a dark brown or gray, I guess, color. And then in theory, you then would pull this piece out and you could, use this nozzle on here and then just like a caulk gun to get it out. I've got my caulk gun over there. And so I'm instead trying to get this in there, down in here with the caulk gun would be impossible. So thus the baggies and the syringe and other stuff. So we're going to do this. I am foreseeing a long, stinky, nasty day, and hopefully it will be good. Some of you had mentioned using some soap and water to try to find the leak. I know where the leak is. I don't know where the infill, where on the inside the leak is starting, but there's a whole area where there's no proseal at all. And I'm hoping that if I just seal that whole area, just put a good bead along the whole thing, that will solve the egress point, I'm not sure what you'd call it, where the leak is starting. So hopefully, and then I'm going to use all of this. I'm going to find other places that maybe I can add a little proseal just to use it and make sure we get it good. I am going to go through a little bit and do some taping, areas where I think I'm going to put some proseal on the outside, for example, tape it up so that I can just peel off any of the extra schmutz that I don't want. And so, yeah, today's the day. Then hopefully in a week or two, I'll do some leak tests, make sure it's good, and then I can actually close up the back. So it's just this one area that I've got to work on. So anyways, that's what I'm doing today, and not looking forward to it, but got to get it done. So here we go. Well, all right, here we go. We're doing the work. So the one thing I would say is on this, when you're doing these tanks, take your time, prep your area. Make sure you have it well vacuumed out and cleaned out on the inside. I had to go through and do that pretty thoroughly because there was a lot of spider webs and stuff in there. So got that all cleaned out, and then I began the process of getting everything set up on the inside. So I had to put, get my camera down in there, get that light down in there, and then get my phone synced to the GoPro so that I can actually see what I'm doing. And so there's a lot of me staring at the GoPro while I'm reaching, or staring at my phone rather, while I'm reaching into the tank to do the work. And it was tough to see. It was tough to see down there, and there was a lot to see because of where it was. Like it was kind of deep down in there, facing up towards me, where you couldn't quickly just look in the tank and see it. It was on the other side, and so it was just a pain. But you can see here that I was able to reach down in there and place a big dollop of proseal on that corner and then just kind of use my finger with those gloves just by feel and kind of looking at my phone, press it into that corner and then smear it out. And there was a lot of that. I was going through and intentionally putting in the proseal and then just smearing my finger along the run so as to get a good seal up in there against those two parts. Now, I will tell you this little dog medicine syringe jobby that I found in our junk drawer, boy, that thing was great. That is exactly what I needed. It was awesome for, doing in that awkward, tight spot and getting the stuff in here. And it allowed me to put a nice big bead of the proseal on the part where I needed it. And it was exactly the right amount for then the whole finger smear trick. So yeah, get one of those things. Just a small syringe is the way to go. Okay, guys, so I'm done. I've done all the work. I used about half of this to get up in there, and it got to a point where I was trying to like find other places to put more of the stuff. Since I've got it, I might as well see if there's any place to put it, but I really didn't see any place else that I thought might have a leak, or that it just nothing else looked like it needed it. And I didn't want to just pile a bunch of proseal up on everything, which, I mean, in one hand it felt wasteful, but at the same time, if it's still leaking, that's more proseal I'm going to clean off. So I think we're good there. I got to tell you though, this little guy was the bomb. To get some of these, it's tiny. It's a tiny little thing. And there's a lot of transferring proseal from the big tube to the little tube while you're applying it. But the tiny little syringe, which is like a medical syringe, it has a teeny little opening. That is the way to go. It was clean. It was easy. I could literally squeeze a bead on and then just run my finger on to kind of press it into the seam, and that worked really well. And the way I was looking at it is I had a light down in there, and I had my little teeny GoPro, and it was using my phone connecting the two so I could watch what I was doing. And about halfway through, the battery ran out, so I had to go get the battery from this camera, the little cable on this camera, and plug it in so that it. This guy, I've had this for years, and the battery doesn't last very long anymore, and the battery's inside. Like, I don't think you can replace the battery on this, so, but worked great. Super happy. I mean, it looks good to me. I think it's gonna be good. I hope it's gonna be good. So now I'm gonna let it cure for like a week or more before I fill it full of water and see what's what. So yeah. Oh, I hope I don't have to do that again, because I just don't enjoy working with this. I will say the syringe made it so much easier, and I feel like I did a good job. So, and it looked good, like I was inspecting the hell out of it. So we'll see. And so now, while this is curing, I think I'm still on the flaps control system. So back to that. So right here, this little bit, I'm going to show just a tiny piece of it, but then I'll move the rest of the footage to the end. This is about 2.5 to almost 3 hours of me putting the tank together, doing the final sealing and closing up of it. And I know some of you would like to actually see all of it, so that will be at the end of this video, because there's a lot and I don't really want to talk over it. So anyways, yeah. All right, the deed is done. So I went through and I leak tested the hell out of this tank. I filled it up, got in there. Well, I did the work. So I finished the work on that I was talking about, where I had that area that was down below that was didn't have any proseal on it. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I got in there. I cleaned out what was in there. I put a whole new thing of proseal all up in there. It looked really good. Gave it a week to think about drying. Actually, it was almost 2 weeks. And got up in there and wasn't tacky anymore, so I figured, all right, let's leak test. Filled it full of water and let it sit out here for about 8 hours full of water, about maybe 6 hours, somewhere in there. And it never, not a drop, not a single drop leaked out of it. So I was super excited about that. So my leak test was good. Then I decided to spend all day yesterday closing up the tank and doing the deed there, and it took a while. It is not a fast process. But I did everything, and I need to get one more little thing of proseal because I was not able to get all of the rivets on the back cleanly covered as I like. You can see here in this picture, this is kind of how I want it to look. Unfortunately, on this side, this is what it looks like, and that's not what I want because I ran out of proseal, right? So I just need to get more, and I didn't want to try to stretch it or anything like that. No, we'll just get another thing, and we'll cover those up. In theory, I shouldn't need to do that, but well, I did it. So once this is fully dried, once I get the other proseal tube and I go out here and I do all that, I will then clean off, all the rivets. You can see here that this is not pretty, but it's what it looks like. Yeah, so it was good. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I finally got this done. I cannot wait to get this hooked up to the wing and move forward. I had some people ask me if I'm going to go back and leak test my other wing because maybe I forgot to do that there, that same thing on that other tank. And no, I'm not going to go back and leak test it because I've already leak tested it. If you go back in my footage, there was a pretty thorough leak testing of that tank, and that one didn't have that. So for whatever reason on this tank, I missed a step, whereas on that tank I didn't. So hopefully, once this one is, like I said, dried, I'm going to give it 2 weeks. Generally, I give it 2 weeks just to make sure it's firmly set. I'm going to lay it down, fill it full, and let it sit full and see what happens. And I also do the air test and all that other stuff too. So hopefully it doesn't leak because at this point, if it leaks, it's going to suck. So anyways, that's what's going on there. And so now that I've got this done and it's kind of in a waiting state, I haven't got the other tube of proseal on order, but I'm going to order that today. And then now it's time to get back to the rest of the plane and work on, what am I working on? Flaps. The interior flap stuff. Flap stuff? I'm an idiot. So specifically what I'm working on right now are these bushings that you have to assemble or I guess fabricate or cut, really. You're just kind of cutting them out of this UHMV stuff. It feels like Dalran or some other hard plastic. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but anyways, that's what it is. And these go through these rods that this twists to control the extension of the flaps. The issue that I'm having right now is because the way that you have to assemble these, you have to put this bushing way out here in the middle to get it in there, and then you slide this in, and bolt this to the plane, and you have to basically have one about here, and then as you're moving this in, you put another one on so that it sits here at this point, where there is no powder coat. And the problem I'm having is these are so tight that the powder coating basically, it stops it. You cannot move this to out here to where it needs to be. And I'm not sure the best way to proceed. My concern is I don't want to make the hole bigger because then when it's on here, it's going to kind of maybe flop around a tiny bit, which we don't want. And so I'm not sure how to go about doing this. I know there's a lot of rounding that can be done on this that I have not done yet, and I may or may not do it depending. But I don't know what to do, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be using some kind of lubricant to get this further in there because, like I said, you hear it clunk, it stops because this powder coating is kind of thick. So, yeah. Now, obviously, I could just take all this powder coating off, but I don't want to do that. That's not good. That's not. I don't feel like that's a good solution. But I may have to, especially down on this end, which you can't even get this started. Oh, I got it started. Yeah, now I got to get it off. So yeah, I'm not sure the best way to go forward with this. If any of you guys know the best way to make this happen, if you would please comment down below, give me some clue of what you did. I'd appreciate it. It may just be a matter of putting a little degreaser or WD-40 or something on here just to get it on here long enough to get it where it needs to be to pull it back out. But then I don't know what those chemicals are going to do to this material. So yeah, not sure what to do. So if you've got any advice, comment down below. All right, so as you can see how super tight it is in here, I've jammed this on here as tight as I could, and you get it in here. Let's see if I get it in there. So you slide that in, and then this comes down. You put it on here like this so that that piece can line up right there, and then you have to kind of pull it all the way over like this so it sticks out of the side of the plane over here, so that then you can put the centerpiece down in there so that you can do the work of getting everything lined up and putting it together. This piece will not move at this point. It is jammed on there, and I can move it in the vise, but I can't move it, you know, just by manipulating it. And if I were to put it up against that piece of metal in there and bolt it in and then wrench it and whatnot, I can totally do that. But then the other one of these lives in here, and so that sucks. And one of my batteries just died. So, golly, super tight getting this thing in and out of here. So obviously there's some way to do this that I haven't quite figured out, or maybe you got to do it, you know, the hard way like this, and I'm not sure. This will turn by hand, but barely, and maybe it just sucks. So I don't know. I'm going to work on that. The other thing is I have ordered my finishing kit. 13 months. 13 months. That's how long it's going to take to deliver the finishing kit. But I've got it on order. I went ahead and ordered everything, or at least I've initially got it set to order everything. I'm going to go through over the course of the next 13 months, and here's a couple things that's going to happen. One, I have 13 months to finish all of this, to finish my wings, to finish, you know, close up that, to get the top on. 13 months. That's how long I have to get all this done. In that 13 months, I need to get my private pilot's license. So I'm going to get my private pilot's license in my Piper out there, and then at the end of the 13 months, I'm selling that to buy the engine. That's the plan anyway. I'm seeing a lot of people selling the exact same plane for like twice what I paid for it, so hopefully that will stay. So that's the plan. Also in that 13 months, I'm going to kind of pay attention to what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. Like some people are changing the glass from the plastic to something else. May do that, may not. I don't know. What else? Stuff like that. Anyways, so that's where I've got 13 months to get this thing ready to basically go up on its gear and do the deed. I've got a lot to do in a very short period of time, so I'm looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I've got to figure out what to do with these things. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, it's a lot going to happen in a very short period of time. I know you guys thinking 13 months is a long time. It's really not, especially in the grand scheme of things. But finally, this 2-year project, which has taken 6 years, it's time to get on the ball and get it happening. Anyways, that's where I'm going to end this one, guys. I really appreciate you. If you guys have any comments or questions, please comment down below, especially about this stuff. And of course, questions, I'm always here. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I will always answer. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Jump over to my Patreon page, and for $1 a month, you guys can help me fund this project. So, and if you want to buy me an engine, I would really appreciate it. That would be amazing. All right, guys. Thanks. Really appreciate you. Remember, if I can do this, you can do this. It's totally doable, and it's actually a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. So, yeah. See you next time. And now the promised footage of me actually sealing the tank. This is still sped up, but like I said, it's 2.5, 3 hours. So you wouldn't want to just sit here and watch it. And unfortunately, I couldn't move the camera. This is one of the things, and once you start doing it, this is all you're doing until you're done. So anyways, thanks, guys.